What if I told you there's a creature that thrives where death reigns? One that eats rotting flesh teeming with deadly diseases and survives. This is no horror story, it's nature's most misunderstood hero, the vulture. Vulture, the nature's biohazard cleanup crew. Let me start with some startling and lesser-known facts about vultures. Vultures are nature's sanitation workers. Vultures play a crucial role in ecosystems by consuming carrion, thus preventing the spread of diseases and keeping environments clean. Thus they play a very important role in the ecosystem. Old World versus New World vultures. Vultures which we see today actually belong to two distinct families. Despite similarities, Old World and New World vultures evolved separately, a phenomenon known as convergent evolution. Geographic and taxonomic differences. Old World vultures live across Europe, Africa, and Asia and belong to the Accipitridae family, making them close relatives of eagles, hawks, and kites. New World vultures live in the Americas and are classified in the Cathartidae family. Genetically, they are not closely related to Old World vultures despite their similar appearance. Evolution, a case of convergent evolution. Though both types look and behave similarly, bald heads, carrion eaters, they evolved these traits independently. Nature shaped them similarly because they occupy the same ecological niche, scavengers that clean up carcasses. Now come to difference in sense of smell versus sight. Old World vultures rely almost entirely on their keen eyesight to locate carcasses. Some can spot a meal from kilometers away. New World vultures, especially the Turkey vulture, have an incredibly sensitive sense of smell rare in birds, allowing them to find hidden or buried carrion by detecting trace amounts of ethyl mercaptan, a gas released by decaying flesh. Difference in communication, syrinx versus silence. Old World vultures have a syrinx, so they can make typical bird calls and communicate with varied sounds. New World vultures lack a syrinx and are mostly silent, limited to grunting, hissing, or bill clapping. Difference in feeding and behavior. Old World species are more aggressive around carcasses and often feed in large, competitive groups. New World species are often more solitary or mildly social, depending on the species. The king vulture, for instance, often waits for other vultures to tear open tough hides before it feeds. Vultures have exceptional immune systems. Vultures can safely consume meat infected with deadly pathogens like anthrax and botulism, thanks to their highly acidic stomachs and robust immune systems. The pathogens that kills other animals can be easily digested by the vultures. The pH of acidic juice in stomach of vultures is only 1. Bearded vultures, bone specialists. The bearded vulture, Gypaetus barbatus, also known as the lammergeier, is one of the most extraordinary scavengers on Earth and the only known bird that eats mostly bones. Up to 85–90% of its diet is bone, which no other animal digests quite like this. They have a specialized digestion strategy. Unlike most vultures that focus on soft flesh, bearded vultures actively seek out bones. They swallow smaller bones whole and carry larger bones into the air to drop them on rocks from heights of up to 80 meters, 260 feet, to crack them open. These bone-breaking sites are called ossuaries. Bone marrow is nutrient-rich, high in fat and protein, and less likely to rot or carry pathogens. Bearded vultures evolved to exploit this clean, long-lasting resource that most animals ignore. Resistance to botulism. Botulism is one of the deadliest natural toxins on Earth, caused by Clostridium botulinum, a spore-forming anaerobic bacterium. And while it can kill humans and most animals in tiny amounts, turkey vultures, carcasses aura, have evolved remarkable defenses that let them eat botulism-infected carcasses without getting sick. Botulism toxin is equal to one of the most potent poisons known. Just 1 gram could kill over 1 million people if inhaled or ingested. Common in decaying carcasses, especially in hot, low-oxygen environments. How turkey vulture resist botulism? Their stomach acid with pH 1 is stronger than that of most animals, strong enough to kill Clostridium botulinum spores. Neutralize the botulinum toxin. This acid destroys bacteria before they can release significant toxins into the vulture's system. Urohydrosis cooling mechanism. Urohydrosis in vultures is a bizarre and unique adaptation where the birds defecate on their own legs, and yes, it's completely intentional. While it may sound gross, it's actually a brilliant evolutionary strategy that serves two main functions. First, to help regulate body temperature, and second, to kill harmful bacteria. It is primarily observed in New World vultures such as turkey vulture, carcasses aura; black vulture, Corageps atratus. Lack of voice box. Unlike most birds, vultures lack a syrinx, making them silent creatures that communicate through grunts and hisses. This condition exists in New World vultures. Old World vultures have a syrinx, so they can make typical bird calls and communicate with varied sounds. Incredible sense of smell. New World vultures, like the turkey vulture and greater yellow-headed vultures, have an exceptional sense of smell, allowing them to find hidden or buried carrion by detecting trace amounts of ethyl mercaptan, a gas released by decaying flesh, detecting carrion from miles away. Vultures have bald heads for hygiene. The bald heads of vultures prevent feathers from getting soiled while feeding, reducing the risk of bacterial infections. In this way, during evolutionary development such adaptations developed. Vulture's digestive acidity comparable to battery acid. Vulture stomach acid is so corrosive that it can digest carcasses infected with deadly bacteria, neutralizing them effectively. pH of stomach juice of vulture is about 1. Vultures have massive wingspans. A vulture's massive wingspan, which can reach up to 3 meters, 10 feet, in species like the Andean condor, is one of its greatest evolutionary advantages. It's not just for show, it plays a critical role in the vulture's ability to soar for hours, cover huge distances, and locate carcasses with incredible efficiency. Tool use in Egyptian vultures. Egyptian vultures, Neophron percnopterus, are one of the few birds and the only vulture species known to use tools in the wild. This makes them incredibly unique in the avian world and offers fascinating insights into avian intelligence and adaptation. Egyptian vultures use rocks as tools to crack open large eggs, especially ostrich eggs, which have very thick shells. They find a suitable stone, not too heavy, but hard enough. Pick it up in their beak. Walk to the egg and throw the stone repeatedly at the shell until it breaks. Once cracked, they feed on the nutrient-rich yolk inside. This is one of the most well-documented examples of tool use in non-primate animals. Long lifespans. Vultures can live for several decades, with some species like the king vulture living up to 70 years in captivity. Vultures are exceptional among birds for their remarkably long lifespans, especially considering their scavenger lifestyle and exposure to disease-ridden environments. Unique nesting habits. Bearded vultures build massive nests on cliff ledges, using sticks and bones, and often reuse them for years. The bearded vulture's nest, Gypaetus barbatus, is as fascinating and unique as the bird itself, especially considering its high-altitude habitats, bone-based diet, and special behaviors. Nests are huge, up to 2.5 meters wide, 1.5 meters deep, made from large sticks and twigs, animal hair, wool, and sometimes bones. These nests are used year after year, expanded and maintained over decades, like a family estate. Specialized bone-dropping behavior. Bearded vultures drop bones from great heights to shatter them, accessing the nutritious marrow inside. High-altitude soaring. Thermals are rising columns of warm air created when the sun heats the Earth's surface unevenly. Warm air is lighter and rises, forming invisible upward-moving bubbles or columns. Vultures can soar at altitudes exceeding 37,000 feet. Vultures are masters of flight efficiency, and one of their greatest secrets is their expert use of thermal currents, rising columns of warm air, to soar for hours with barely a flap of their wings. Efficient carcass consumption. Vultures can consume up to 20% of their body weight in a single meal, efficiently cleaning carcasses. That is why they are called the biohazardous waste cleaner and saving the environment. Social feeding behavior. Vultures often feed in groups, quickly locating and consuming carrion, which helps prevent disease spread. Defensive vomiting. Defensive vomiting is one of the vulture's most bizarre and effective survival strategies. While it may sound disgusting, it serves powerful biological and defensive purposes. When threatened, vultures may vomit to deter predators and lighten their load for a quick escape. Cultural significance. In various cultures, vultures symbolize purification and renewal, playing roles in rituals and folklore. Threats from diclofenac. The veterinary drug diclofenac has caused drastic declines in vulture populations due to its toxicity. This drug is a painkiller used to be given to cattle. When the vultures eat the dead cattle, diclofenac enters the intestine of vultures and damages their kidneys, resulting into death of vultures. Conservation success in Nepal. Nepal's vulture restaurants provide safe food sources, aiding in the recovery of vulture populations. Such efforts need to be replicated worldwide. Unique feeding strategies. Some vultures, like the king vulture, rely on other species to open carcasses, showcasing interspecies cooperation. King vultures have extremely strong beaks, much stronger than those of smaller vultures like turkey vultures or black vultures. When they arrive at a carcass with thick skin, example, large mammals, they tear it open, something smaller vultures often can't do. Why this matters? Once the tough hide is breached, other vultures can access the meat. This benefits multiple species and ensures the carcass is fully consumed, reducing the spread of disease. Interspecies benefit. Smaller vultures wait for king vultures to do the heavy lifting, then join in. In a world where death is feared and decay is avoided, the vulture dares to dive in. With stomachs stronger than steel, wings that ride the wind, and hearts tuned to balance the wild. Vultures are not villains of the sky. They are nature's unsung guardians. So next time you see one circling overhead, don't look away in disgust. Look up in awe. If fascinating, please subscribe the channel, like and share the video.